don't lose the connection. Chat's gonna look weird on the left there, but don't worry about it. It's better for the gameplay stuff. The menu stuff, it's not as good, but it's fine.
It's starting.
This is Megatagmension Blanc plus Neptune versus Zombies, which is a pretty hefty name. But really what it is just like a little beat 'em up kind of thing. I'm just going to do ad hoc mode. I'm not going to try to connect to the internet right now. I assume that it probably has nobody playing, but who knows? I'm not going to test that for you. So basically what this game probably has going for it most, other than like if you like the Neptunia characters, is that each of these characters are like customizable and level upable. So there's quite a bit you can do with it. I personally use Tamsoft the most, but we'll start with someone else right now. We'll start with Peachy. I made her a little bee girl. And so you can go into the, I think it's the character screen, or no, the characters reselect. It's the setup screen. And you can kind of change what they're wearing. Yellow hair is the only hair option I have for her, as well as the cat gloves. Even though she's a bee, she's got class gloves. But I have like different outfits and stuff. Like I think this is their Game Academy is their school outfit, so this is hers. And I just have like a bunch of different color variants of it. I'd say I don't know enough about the Neptunia games to say how various the clothes customization stuff is, but you have a lot more like accessory parts. There's these parts here that I don't particularly like, that are like actually stat boosts, but I unequip them because they're kind of ugly. So let's go ahead. I forget what it is. There we go. Unequip that. And then you can equip a bunch of accessories and stuff that you have. So you have a lot of like random little accessories here. So I have a corsage. And what's neat about this game, as well as like stuff like, you know, Center Kruger, Beach Beach Slash. I think I said Center Kruger earlier. This is Neptunia. You can select what part of the body you want this thing to be on. And then you also have a lot of customization options of the placement. Like there's an entire XYZ option for the placement, the angles, and the size. So you can kind of do whatever you want with it and move it around. And so cases like this where, you know, they didn't do a particularly great job of placing this on her head, because it's just not, you know, it's adjustable. So I want to keep it at the Y, at the X and the Y the same, but the Z axis I'm going to reduce, so it actually sticks on her head. And you can increase the size of it as well, usually. So like right now it's just like 100, and you can just kind of like stretch it out. You can also, you know, make it taller, and you can also make it fatter. So just give you a lot of like options for this stuff. So we're just gonna give her a really big flower. She's a bee. She likes big flowers, I guess. I don't know. So we have ourselves a really big flower on her head, and that's gonna be what we're gonna do. You can get pretty ridiculous with this stuff, but I'll show you some of my other characters later. And then each character also has like the ability to level up HP, power, defense, and there's like a technique, which basically is for combos. I usually focus on technique just so I have as many moves as possible from the beginning, and then, you know, power from there is usually pretty good. So I'll go ahead and upgrade my defense just because that's the only thing I have points for. All right, let's run it back out, and we're gonna do a quest. And you're gonna notice pretty quickly, this game's pretty simple. Most of the areas are pretty indistinguishable from each other in terms of like the layout. They might be more like open, or like, you know, in the forest, and there's like, you know, jagged little paths and stuff, or you're in the school like this where it's just like, here's a bunch of classrooms and just clear out the classrooms. You have a pretty basic combo, and it's kind of similar to other like Muso style games where like you can press the basic attack button, and then when you press triangle it kind of takes you out of that into a stronger hit. And then sometimes, I think it might depend on the character or maybe I'm just remembering incorrect. Like, it's been a while since I played this. Sometimes pressing the triangle button at different parts of the combo will give you some different results, which I think is the case for this game, because I'm pretty sure one of the girls will like throw her swords sometimes, but she typically doesn't if you wait till late in the combo. You also have 4 additional skills that are mapped to the face buttons, so this is just like a basic attack, and I beat the mission. And then you have that triangle attack, and then you also have a skill, so that's like a punch, and each face button has a skill, but there's a timer, and I'll show that in the UI where that timer is. It's like a timer that builds up so you can use each of the 4 skills essentially. Okay. So we'll go to a harder mission. I gotta be careful because, like, I think my character's level 10, so I just need to make sure I don't completely outrank myself on this character. So we'll do this one. I think it's up to 3 players, maybe 4. I don't remember if it goes up further than that. And basically you're pretty much just like aiming to get the best rank. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use a skill. And you can kind of combo those into your attacks as well, so you don't want to just, you know, use them on their own. Whoops. Every character also has like a charge hit. That's good for hitting like multiple enemies at once. Frame rate's not great in this game. This game feels budget. And like content-wise, that's especially apparent, unfortunately. Oh, this is the punch. Boom. So above your health, so in the bottom left-hand corner you have, and then in that little bar that's filling in the bottom left-hand corner is like my energy that determines when I can use one of those special attacks with the face buttons. But then I also have my health bar and the orange bar, and then I have like a N bar for Neptunia mode, or Neptunia like energy or something like that. And so you basically can charge up an attack. And you know, you can see in the bottom left hand corner how it charges, but you don't want to get hit, so you can't like sit there and just wait till 100%, even if you're getting smacked in the face. I think there's a way to transform. I think in the Neptunia series, like every character has like a transformation that's like a special powered up version of themselves. I think there's a way to transform to their special powered up version of themselves temporarily. I cannot remember for the life of me what that is to do that, and I tried looking it up, and I tried looking in the manual. I could not find it. I don't know where I found out about that. Maybe I'm completely misremembering. So yeah, so we played as her, and so that basically when she transforms into this like huge booby lady. So I was playing this game. I mainly made Tamsoft, and like I put little dolls that are like stuck to her boobs. The reason being is because there's like a jiggle physics in this game for the boobs, and so the dolls like bounce up and down everywhere. So I think she's like level 40 or something. Let me see here. Whoops. Well,
Give me a moment.
let me back out of this because this is the same mission. And if you're wondering why my Homura and my Peach Beach Splash video had blue hair, it's because I briefly forgot what game I was playing, and I was like, oh, where's Tamsoft? And I was like, well, I guess I'll just make him Homura Tamsoft, forgetting that they're completely different series. They are similar in some ways. I think they hit a very similar audience at the very least. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. So let's see. So I think I'm like level 40. We may get messed up in here, but I'll I went ahead and I think this is a boss mission. Bosses aren't particularly like, there's not a lot of strategy to killing them. I think this is like the Genesis / Mega Drive guy that appears in like every Neptunia game. It feels like every Neptunia games I've seen this 16-bit guy around. He seems like he gets a lot of use. And I may die immediately because I don't know how hard this guy's supposed to be. Whoops. Oops. So I think with this character I can actually, oops, okay. This is the one where like if I hit it, the triangle at a certain time, it doesn't just do like an aerial attack, it like throw the sword forward. Yeah, so if I do the triangle attack in the middle of the combo there, it like throws the sword forward. I'm doing a real bad job of aiming that special. There's kind of a pretty decent movement system in this game. You can like dash, 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 and then dash. It's like a three dash. Excuse me. But yeah, otherwise this is pretty much it. There's not a lot more to say about it. Excuse me, I'm just coughing up a storm. And so you basically just go through some ever-increasing, you know, enemy requirements and time requirements with the whole goal to get like triple S's on every mission. You can lock on and kind of see how much health he has, so we barely dented this guy. Although he has also barely dented us. And I don't remember any of these special skills. You can also block. But I think what I like most about this game is just like the presentation of it. It's pretty clean and colorful looking. But it's pretty simple in its execution, and I think a lot of oops, I can't remember if it's D3 that publishes these. I don't think so. No, I think it's an NIS America joint. But like Neptunia and Center Courier games, you know, from the very few I've played, seem to have a very budget feel to them because they are very budget, I'm sure. Unfortunately, I played this a while ago, so I'm not really sure what the best way to put out damage is. We might end up finishing this one. Oops. You can use your special kind of whenever you want, and since you can use up to 30%, it is okay to like use it even when the meter's not full. Problem being is that like you can't really re-aim it or target it. And a lot of enemies in these games move quite a bit unless they're like just the typical fodder or whatever. So like these bosses and stuff really don't seem to be effective, which is why I think the transformation stuff was more effective. But I can't remember how to do that, so we're just not going to do it right now. Okay, let's see what his health's at. So like, we're not even at a fourth, so we'll probably back out of this one for now. Since these are multiplayer missions, they are balanced for multiplayer stuff. But we'll see here. Curious, what level am I? 42. Yeah, so I'm within the range of this. I'm not sure why I'm not taking any damage. Maybe I just have really high defense or something. I may have leveled that up on her. Let's see here. I think these special quests might be timed, or like specific days of the week that you do them. So, defeat all thug leader zombies is this one. You can go ahead and like set yourself to just be the transformed character from the start. I don't know if that has any benefit per se. I just covered my transfer character in Neps all over the place. So this is kind of how goofy you can get with the accessory stuff. You can just like make them as big, like huge. Like these are just like tiny dolls that typically would be on you, but I just made them massive, and I just can't see my character anymore at this point. Yeah, I forgot about these guys. So I think it's like when it comes to the multiplayer stuff, I think it's like a fine chat kind of game, but like in terms of like if you're just playing it by yourself, or like you're just playing with randos, it might not be particularly super fun unless you're really into the customization stuff. You know, I do think there's a level of satisfaction you get out of leveling your characters, getting new moves and stuff, and you know all these little enemies and stuff. Pretty cute. There's some because Neptunia is like a very video game referencey kind of thing. There's some pretty cute characters. One thing I didn't really go into is the patch system. You can apply different patches to your characters. Let me see if I can find where that is. Let me back out of here. It's taking forever to load those what's it called in. Okay, so there's our combos. I don't know what that is, relationship tree or something. Is it items? I can't remember where to attach these patches at. Net plushies. Oh, you know what? I think it's on the weapons. Yeah. So it looks like I might not have anything attached to these weapons, which is weird. I think this is my main character. I typically would. Let me go ahead and throw that on there. Apparently not, but yeah, you basically have this and it's kind of like the whole like what's that video game? One I don't like very much at all. Near Automata. It's kind of like that, where you basically can apply different chips to your character, and then those chips have like a limit on what you can do. So in this case, like I'll have 100% EX drive, which is that little N Neptunia meter, or whatever I called it earlier. This changes your attack type, so you can have like slice attacks, increase power, increase a bunch of other stuff. So it's basically just some additional stat boost. So at the very least, you know, you may not want to necessarily change your attack type unless you're trying to, you know, fit certain characters or certain bosses. So this is just increased types of magic. Let's see, what would be good? State program use counts and will be maintained. I don't know what that means. And this just increases of power and defense. So attack patch Y and then like a defense patch Y is probably very patch B. Probably a pretty easy thing to just throw on there and call it a day for the most part. I think the shop sells patches. Oh, and then there's like treasure. So basically, when you're playing these missions, you collect fragments and stuff, and you can I think this is like unlocks different outfits and stuff for each character. Although it's been a while since I've played this game a lot, so so it may not necessarily be 100% accurate, but it looks like it basically have materials. You can make different patches and stuff, and then buy different weapons and accessories. The most important thing, you know, make your character fun and cute. Buy some headphones. Who knows? I have a lot of credits, so hey, you know what? Just let's buy the things that matter, you know? The other stuff, who cares? This is what really matters. Make your characters as beautiful as possible, I guess. I don't know why I'm doing this. Probably because I'll never play this game again, probably, after this. But it's cute, it's silly. I never finished the online missions, which I was kind of sad about.
Thanks for your business.
Thank you. I earned a trophy. That's definitely what I was going for, right? Sure. Okay. And if you don't play this game in multiplayer, there is a story mode, and we'll pop in that for a second here. And the story mode's actually a little bit different. So not only, you know, it basically tries to account for the fact that you are playing completely alone, and you have the option to switch between two different characters. So each character has and this is kind of another thing that I actually like about this game. Each character has a pretty unique attack type. They're all pretty different. So I don't know. It's a pretty lengthy story. So go pick her. We may just get ruined, but I think, is it Uni is pretty distinct. I think she has like guns and stuff, so she plays quite a bit different than the other characters. But each character has their own unique combos, own unique skills, and you know, as you level them up, they unlock new stuff, which is pretty nice. And if you want to like grind some stuff out, then it's a pretty fun game to go ahead and do that. And you know, I'm playing this on PlayStation TV. This might be a better like portable game. Okay. And then so you can also switch between characters, which let me see if I can remember how to do that real quick. Let's see. I think it's L and R. Yeah, there we go. So she has like a gun. And so she's actually pretty fun to play. Oh. Ouch. And the story is pretty straightforward. Basically, a bunch of zombies show up at the school, and they decide, oh, looks like they'd have a little buddy or something. Little doggo guy. I don't know what that does. Okay, there's a... over there. Basically, a bunch of zombies show up at the school, and they're like, hey, why don't we abuse this fact? and why don't we abuse this fact and then try to make a zombie movie out of this? And, you know, if you like the Neptunia characters, I think it's a pretty decent way to experience that stuff. You know, I think I felt pretty similarly about like Peach Beach Splash and stuff like that, where nothing of value really happens. Like, I think at some point there is an actual story that goes on where like, oh, we have to stop this like monster from taking over the world, but it's all kind of within the context of them, you know, in making this movie together. And I don't really know if it shows any of the cutscenes again since I've already played through the game in its entirety. Guessing that's the end of the game there. I'm trying to remember who else was pretty neat. I think Ram is alright. And Blanc has like a hammer kind of thing. She's kind of the main character in this one, which is why it's Blanc plus Neptunia. Because Neptunia is like kind of the main character of the whole series, obviously, based off the series' name, Hyperdimension Neptunia. But Blanc is kind of the lead on this one, which is why her name's in the title. Oops. Okay. And there's like little Pac-Man ghosts and stuff, and I guess I haven't really seen too much of this while we were playing just now. And this girl I think is way underleveled. I think I picked the wrong... There's like a Ram and a Ram that are very similar, and I think I played with Ram, but not Ram. So let's see. I know I played with Blanc. So let me see if I can switch over to her. And she has like a really slow hammer here. But I also think I stopped playing with her pretty early on. Oops. Okay, those guys are like healers, it looks like. Oops. So it doesn't look like there's any cutscenes right now, probably because I beat the whole game already. Oh, she's dead. Rest in peace. That's what I get for using low-level characters. But yeah, it's pretty silly, pretty goofy, but I like the accessory stuff. I wish there were more outfits that were more readily available, but you kind of just gotta grind it out, and I think you get a couple of options, but not like a ton. That's the nice thing about like Synchro or Peach Beach Slash is like everyone can share outfits for the most part. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say too much more about this game. This is kind of it, which I think isn't terrible. I think it's like a nice, you know, mindless thing to go through. There we go. I made a uniform for Tamsoft, which actually that's exciting because I think Tamsoft was a character I always wanted more outfits for, and I never got one. So let's see. Let's go into the let's give Tamsoft a makeover before we stop. Now that I've bought a bunch of accessories, we want to untransform though, so we don't have all the things all over us. So let's see what we got going on here. Okay, I got a sky blue robe. Wait, where's my whatever uniform? Is it only for the transformed version? I could have sworn I just unlocked that outfit for Tamsoft. Why would that not be there? I did get a new sword, but that's the best sword in the game. Well, maybe we didn't get a new outfit for Tamsoft, but hey, why not? I have a little flower in her hair. Let's just clear this stuff off. Let's make her look nice rather than just like as a joke of let's put all these dolls on her boobs so they move around a bunch. She has huge boobs. I kind of wish she had, again, more outfits for you to kind of do stuff with, and maybe there are more if you grind a bunch, but you know, in the time that I went through to like basically just beat the game, nothing of too much note ever really showed up. I think, you know, like with the other girl earlier, we had the bee outfit, and that's cute. Does this preview it at all, or do I just gotta equip it? I think I just gotta equip it. With the headphones on, be Freedom Wars character or something. So this is kind of nice where it's like, oh, the thing is cutting into her head, and, you know, obviously you could say, well, maybe they should have designed it so that wasn't happening. But, you know, it's nice that they give you the option rather than just saying, hey, we're going to make it awful, and then you just get to deal with it. I've definitely played games where they're like, oh, here's some customization aspects. You're not, like, we're not going to actually properly, you know, support this stuff. I don't know if I really want red, but hey, you know, we'll just keep the theme, the red theme. And we make her like, oh, you have big anime eyes. Let's make you have big glasses. Big glasses. Although I don't think the X needs to be expanded. I think it's just the Y that needs to be expanded. And then I can probably adjust the placement upwards. Yeah. Make those glasses realistic to the proportions of her eyes. There we go. Perfect.
What you think?
Perfect. Pins? It's got like a plug. Let's see. What else we got here? I know this is the most exciting way to finish out a stream. Shooting stars that like floating behind her. Okay, it's kind of like a pin or something. Put it on her belt, and then like see, it's like clipping through her shirt. So let's adjust the X and see. Okay, so here's where it's like really nice that you can get really detailed. So the problem is that like it actually is close enough to her shirt to like to be there. And I don't want to like pull it all the way out because then like that's super noticeable. I can probably have some extra space in here and not have too much trouble with exposing it, or with it not being noticeable that it isn't touching her body. But I do want to make it so it's not clipping through at the very least. So that's gonna be, I think, X. Right? Yeah, I think that's gonna. Oh wait, yeah, maybe not. Okay, that's spinning it. So we wanna think Y? Is that right? Nope, that doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do either. So I guess it is X. Alright, there we go. So let's flatten this out a bit. And it might seem silly for me to sit here and like do this, but I think this is kind of the reason you play this game in a lot of ways. Okay, that's cutting through quite a bit. I think that's probably the best we're gonna get right now, which I think, you know, from afar that looks fine for the most part. So we got a little star on our belt, but like I think it's accessories and stuff is a big part of these games, and I don't say that as a way of like, oh, dressing up your character is a bad thing. I like dressing up characters in games. That's just something I've always enjoyed. And I'm always a little sad when games don't let you do it, like Dragon Quest Heroes. I think you can get like different outfits in Dragon Quest Heroes, but you might not necessarily like might not necessarily get a ton of I think you can only get it from like downloadable content stuff from buying the PC version of the game specifically for some reason. Earrings aren't going to matter because we don't have any earrings to show. I will say that this is kind of limited though, but maybe it's just because I haven't unlocked a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously I bought all the accessories from the store, but hey, you know what? Sometime you need to put a little history somewhere. And there's a lot of places for you to put them. Could be in your arm, your shoulder. Let me verify that this is the doll we want in our life. Is a ribbon valuable? One thing I do wish, and the same thing with Siren Krieger, is that like sometimes the colors don't match between accessories and stuff, and I wish there was just like an RGB value rather than here's the cowlick blue, here's the cowlick green. Sometimes you just want full control over that stuff. Hairpins. I don't have a colored hairpin. I do have colored headbands. I think I have a Nep doll somewhere. I mean, I do have a Nep doll somewhere because what's her face has it equipped. Yeah, there we go. Nepshi. Yeah. A little Nep on her head. There, the finishing touch. Change the pose. Got 2 poses. This is good stuff. You know what that means? It's time to take Tamsoft on one last adventure. So I'll probably never play this game again. Let's click on the gallery. Let's see what's in the gallery. The hard thing when it's been like super long since I've played these games is like I don't have a ton to say about about them sometimes. But no.
You were able to defeat them. But why would zombies be?
Can I back out of this cutscene at all? I figured that this is what this would be, but also I can't advance the text. Well, maybe this is just the end. This controller no longer wants to sync up. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Are you sure we defeated them? Don't be big sister.
Full skip. Full skip. I say a lot of the cutscenes in these games, though, just kind of drag on. Is kind of the problem. Okay. Well, there's the tutorial. I wanted to learn how to transform, but too late. Alright, back into multiplayer. Nope. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Let's just do story. We'll just do a story mode mission and end it on that. I know this is dragged down on the back end. I apologize. We'll just do town area. Bring Tamsoft. And I don't know, she may or may not be leveled. Most of my characters aren't leveled in this game. I think the transformed versions of them do maintain the same level as the base version of all the characters. And now we just look so good. No, other than the nep on my head, there's no silliness. The block in this game is a little slow. I feel like dodging is probably the better option. I think because you have to actually stop to block, if I recall correctly. Let's see. Maybe not. Oof. I shouldn't have used that same skill. Ah. So yeah, since I charged that up and then didn't actually use it before I got hit, I just lose all my meter on that. You need at least 30% to make it work. Oops. giant sword. But yeah, I hope someday I play another Nep game. I mean, this obviously isn't representative of the rest of the series, and this is pretty much the only one I've played. I also got Cyber Dimension Neptunia, which I'd like to play more, spend more time with that game. But you know, time. At the time, it made sense when I picked it up. But at this point, maybe not so much. It's I think the biggest problem with it is just like it seemed like a very online focused game, and then and I have this problem with like a lot of cheap or maybe like games where online doesn't become as much as a priority, or they just don't have the budget. It's just like the online typically ends up being like, oh, go fight a boss, rather than like do a dungeon. I think in the case of Cyber Dimension Neptunia, it actually does do the dungeon. I don't know if I ever used this girl. This looks completely unfamiliar. Oh, she has like a what's it called? Microphone thing. Oops. She is way too low level for that, but hey, I'd already beat him up with Tamsoft. Yeah, it's not a bad game. I'd say there's no real good reason to pursue it in some ways, but I think it's not a terrible game to play either. I think it's a good thing to just like kind of space out to as well, and just kind of grind through if you want.
So how'd you like your first shoot?
And I have it in the dub mode here, but you can play it in Japanese. Because why would you release one of these games without the Japanese voice track? Because 99% of people who are playing these games want the Japanese voice track. The dub's just kind of goofy. I'd say most of the characters are just kind of whatever for the most part. This controller is just not wanting to play nice. I don't know why. Let's visit the official website. Let's end it. Let's end it. This is the end. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for coming. Oh, no, don't look at my LAN. Well, I forgot we're not connected to the internet. Rest in peace. Thanks for coming. This controller is killing me. I don't know why it's doing this. Hopefully we'll beat Yakuza 2 next week, but I make no guarantees. It's moving so freaking slow. It's driving me crazy. I don't know why the back half of the game is so paced out like it is. Maybe just time constraints. Game came out like a year after what's it called? Yakuza. I don't know. Maybe the first game was time constraint or had those slower aspects towards the back of the end. I just can't stand that they're always like, "Hey, it's just go kill some time, man." And it's like, doing what? And there's like there's side mini games in Yakuza 2, but there's not enough to keep you busy, or there's not enough pointed out to you. And I did like the first time they did it because there was a lot of like side stories that you were doing, and it seemed like that stuff was kind of built into that break period that was happening. But the parts where you're just like, go hang out with Haruka, it's just like, I don't know. It's just there's not a lot to do, and like half the time it doesn't even like match the point of the story because it's like go hang out with Haruka, but she can't go into like 99% of the buildings and stuff. It's kind of frustrating. Like, I don't know, maybe it'd be more valuable if there was like actually some kind of development happening with Haruka in those cuts or in those sections, but there's not any. It's like Haruka's just sitting there like, "Oh, it's been so long since we hanged out," and then every time you leave, she's like, "Oh, I guess you're going in that like sexy place and I can't go in," and then you come out and she's like, "You were in there a long time, buddy." And then Yakuza man just says, "Oh, sorry." We're at the end though. Neptunia games still use console girls. They're not all consoles. Sometimes the one of the girls is the Famitsu girl, like in the Japanese magazine Famitsu. So I think there's like a bunch of Famitsu girls. Tamsoft is a company, so it's a mix of things. But the baseline is all consoles, and then Neptunia is the prototype Neptune that never came out. So go to PlayStation.com to learn more about Megatagmension Blanc Neptune versus zombies. Thanks, PlayStation.com. Alright, I'm gonna head out. Have a good night. Bye.